Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you didn't know, we still got news about what's going on with the Somali pirate situation in Minnesota. I've got several video clips that compile a little bit of information that proves that not only Tim Walz, but other people are implicated in this crime, including some breaking news on some Ohio investigations that have been happening by citizen journalists over the last 24 hours. They say Cleveland, Ohio is a hotbed of Somalis. There's several hotbeds of Somalis in this country, but I believe in Ohio they have the second biggest Somali population concentrated in one spot. I think over 40,000 is the number I read earlier today. They say there's 250,000 Somalis in this country, but that's without counting the ones that poured over the border in the last uh, 24, 48 months. So we probably got between a quarter of a million and a half a million Somalis living in this country, and they live in every state, including here in Texas. And so I asked Grok, says, is childcare.gov, do they provide resources for Somali daycares and the Somali community? Says, yes, of course. Childcare.gov provides extensive resources specifically for Minnesota families. That's what I was asking about, Minnesota. Linking to the state programs like Parent Aware, and that's the boondoggle, Child Care Assistance Programs, CCAP, Early Learning Scholarships, and finding local care, helping you find, afford, and choose quality care in Minnesota. I mean, they'll tote you around in theory to your pharmacy or to your doctor and make a buck off that. That's one of the many scams they're finding out is going on. But I want to talk about the scam that I have yet to hear anything about on television whatsoever from any podcaster, anybody, anywhere. Not only did they uh, give money to the federal government, give money to the state in order to give to the counties, in order to give to these small businesses to help them function, including these child care programs. The Learning Scholarship. We have heard nothing about scholarships. Are the Somali kids getting scholarships to go to school when they're not having to go to school? Um, are they bilking the system with scholarships as well? I mean, the chances of them, the government, be handing out all this money for all this stuff with no accountability, the chances that learning scholarships is not part of the problem too, I think is zero. So I hope somebody out there over the next few days, while they're looking into this Somali fraud, looks into the learning scholarships that have been um, probably placated by the Biden administration. We now know for a fact the Biden administration, as of the last couple of days, has the information has come out that the Biden administration refused to get let the FBI and the DOJ do any investigation into any fraud in Minnesota because it might hurt his partners, candidates, friends, Democrat, Ilhan Omar's, the Tim Walz types, uh, might push them out of power if all this was exposed. And so they just basically slid it under the rug. And then at one point, I'm guessing they encouraged it because it probably helped with the whole immigration system, being able to lie about the amount of money being moved around in order to get more people in the country and give them an incentive to live here. And that's where all the fraud has come in. You think Biden spent $7 trillion through Congress and every state didn't get rich behind it? Somebody took the money. And I believe a lot of it was even farmed out of our country in the name of terrorism with fronts like these Somali autism clinics and these Somali daycare centers. And I'm just thankful. I just want to hats off to the Nick Shirleys of the world that have to do citizen journalism because the FBI hadn't ever done their job. Not at this point. This has been going on for a fact since 2012. People have been reporting on this. There is congressional reports of people complaining about it as early as 2016. I've got my very first video clip here for you. I have for you is 2018. This guy is this is a whistleblower. He works for the Department of Human Services in Minnesota, and he's already uncovered the scheme, one of the many schemes there in the state, in the Twin Cities, and it didn't seem like nobody heard him, nobody cared, nobody done nothing about it. He didn't get the right people involved, or maybe the government was 100% crooked at the time. And at this point, with no prosecutions coming from Cash Patel or Pam Bondi, or even Harvey Dillon, uh, towards a lot of, not these folks, 'cause this is new investigations, but towards a lot of the other political criminals that are out there. Just waiting to see if that ever happens is really making us all impatient. I'm hoping 2025 was the year of exposure, and 2026 is the year of accountability. That's what I'm praying for, folks. I am praying for that each and every day. I don't know if that's the right thing to pray for, but I'm praying for it anyway. But let's first thing we'll do is we'll get into it. I've got several clips here, just short clips, most of them, about a lot of the things that I found out over the last 24 hours about Tim Walz's involvement and so many more things. Tim Walz did nothing. That's the name of this video. Hold on, let me scroll this up a little bit. Alrighty then. Bear with me, folks.
$100 million figure came from Scott Stillman, a former Department of Human Services computer forensics director. He also alleged money from the daycare fraud was being sent to fund terrorists in Somalia. $100 million figure came from Scott Stillman, a former Department of Human Services computer forensics director. He also alleged money from the daycare fraud was being sent to fund terrorists in Somalia. $100 million figure came from Scott Stillman, a former Department of Human Services computer forensics director. He also alleged money from the daycare fraud was being sent to fund terrorists in Somalia. $100 million figure.
This guy knew this in 2018. That is ridiculous, folks. And he actually seen the money trail. He was a financial accountant for the Department of Human Services, so he could see the money being bounced. What a shame. I'm glad to see it's finally being exposed. I hate to say that it's going to take citizen journalists, podcasters, people that have the balls to question the narrative, to take our country back, because even with the greatest of presidents, he can't do it all by himself, and he's obviously got a weak team working for him. They're obviously moving too slow to satisfy anybody. If midterms happen and we have no arrest by then, I think we will lose because we've had no arrest by then. Just saying. But I won't go down that dark road. But let me read a few things for you. It's holy crap. Minnesota lawmaker confirms credible whistleblowers have come forward, proven Tim Walz and his team threatened them with accusations of racism and Islamophobia when they threatened to expose the Somali fraud. We need these people to go to jail. Absolutely. These people need to go. If you're involved in it, you need to go. You need to go to jail. If you're involved in it and you're from another country, I say send your ass home when your prison sentence is up.
Absolutely. We have dozens of credible whistleblower reports saying that exact same thing, that people were told not to say anything because they'd be called racist or Islamophobic, or it would hurt the state. And so people tried to come forward, but were shut down. And that protection of a particular community is what really allowed this fraud to flourish in Minnesota for years. But we have said very publicly that, yes, the bulk of the fraud we've discovered so far is in the Somali community, but some of our best whistleblowers are also in the Somali community. And it's really important that we get to the truth of this issue. And so by failing to call it out, we allowed it to continue, and that has hurt Minnesotans tremendously, taxpayers and our vulnerable citizens. Absolutely. We have
heard there was over 100 mayors in Minnesota trying to keep their hands clean by saying, it wasn't me. How dare you, Tim Walz? We had no idea. We were uninformed. We had no clue. Now, I think this actually went on in all the big major cities in Minnesota, but mostly where the Somali communities were bulked together. Now, my question is did it happen in every state or every Democrat state? And did this happen with other people's other nationalities, not just the Somalis, but do we have also Haitian pirates here, possibly? Because the Haitians in Springfield, Missouri, where they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats, could they possibly be doing some fraud, or could they not afford to, or figure out how to do the fraud, and so that's why they root in the dogs and the cats? I'm not sure, but I know that if you drop and if you inject thousands of people of the same nationality into the same neighborhood, in the same community, you change the community forever. But more than that, they're a tight knit group. Nobody speaks their language, and they don't speak nobody's language for the most part. And so, therefore, that's one of the many things, not just their religion, if they have any, but their language barrier keeps them all working together. And I'm sure when one Somali learned about the one of the food stamp scams, or the autism scam, or the daycare scam, or the ride people around scam in the name of medical treatment or whatever it is, one of the many umpteen scams that they're finding out now, the scholarship scam coming soon. Uh, if any of these things, one things hit somebody in the Somali community and they said, "Oh, opportunity," you think they didn't tell every other Somali they knew, "Hey, I know a way to game the system. You want in?" I'm sure that's exactly what happened. It's either happened like that, or the government said, "We love that you're Somalis. Here, take some free stuff. If you want some stuff that's not really legal, but here's a way you can get some more free stuff. Here you go." I have to believe that the state at this point was probably in on it. Not just complacent, but facilitated it.
Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison. We see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing the 2020 Meals Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud. Held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant. That's where one of the men who run that restaurant has associations to the convicted individuals. And then there's Tim Walz. House Oversight Investigation role in his role as governor, or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. The Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring. Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General.
Wow. It's going to be pretty easy. These people were such sloppy thieves. It's going to be pretty easy to prove. I think they have 90-something people in custody. Is what I'm hearing, around 100 people in custody at this point, indicted or arrested. Here's another piece of information about Tim Walz that you probably haven't heard. An old Tim Walz tweet resurfaced where he talks about giving taxpayer money to Somali child care groups. This could not have aged worse. Look at this tweet right here. It says, "We're proving 300." This is Tim Walz's tweet. "We're proving 316 million in approving. We are providing 316 million in direct funding to boost pay for child care to providers of all, while building a stronger child care system for middle class families." So he gave away state funds that were probably allocated for God knows what, but he redirected them to the child care system. So he was pumping the system out loud. He was saying, "Hey, we're going to hook these people up. We got a good racket going over here. Everybody's making plenty of money. We want to promote this. We want the Somalis to run the child care in our cities. Pays great." Now, we've got people in more than one state today. Let's just start with Ohio and Minnesota, but I'm sure this is going to be looked at in several states. As a matter of fact, I was looking at it, asking Grok a lot of questions earlier about Texas. I'm trying to figure out if it's going on here in Texas as well. I'm doing a little digging. I'll get back with y'all on that if I come up with any real information as to any fraud, even one drop of fraud going on in the state of Texas here, involving the scholarship funds or anything of that nature that I think these Somalis may be up to. Here is Ohio. Now, the word is out, obviously.
Today I'm showing you 161 Childcare in Columbus, Ohio. And as you can see, it does not look like a childcare center at all. It is locked. It says it's open. There's a little desk right there, but the ceiling's all falling out and stuff like that. And if you come around back, you can see that this place is just a total dump. Literal just debris everywhere.
Ain't nobody parking there.
This is a question. How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that?
She
No
already
kids?
knows.
So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through. You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets.
That's too funny. I've got a couple of comical ones. I'll have to hunt one of them down of Tim Walz telling everybody all the Somalis. Well, I won't spoil it for you. Stick around, folks, and we will get to it as well. I got a few more for you. Some breaking information as far as they're going to tie Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar to these crimes, and Keith Ellison as well. Just because of the timing of it, because of the fact that not only did state officials like the governor know about it, but the attorney general looked the other way. I'm sure the comptroller looked the other way. I'm sure the food service inspectors looked the other way. I'm sure the building inspectors looked the other way. I'm sure all the county recorders at the business bureau looked. There had to be dozens of people, if not hundreds of people, that worked for the city that knew this was happening, if not thousands. It couldn't have happened so blatantly if it wasn't so coordinated, and they were blaring obvious about it. It's just been exposed that Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison son has been collecting a $110,000 salary and a $57,000 living expense, stripped from Minneapolis City Council, stripping from Minneapolis City Council while attending Harvard. How does that work? Check it out.
This morning, Jeremiah Ellison was among the outgoing city council members to get an honorary resolution for their years of service.
So I give my gratitude to the North Side.
But one issue not mentioned, where he's been the final 5 months of his term. Harvard University as a Loeb Fellow. R.J. Coles first broke this story this summer, and it caught some off guard.
His Ward 5 constituents deserve a council member who shows up.
Ellison is splitting his time between here and Cambridge, Massachusetts. He's still earning his $110,000 city salary on top of a $57,000 stipend from Harvard. Now 5 Investigates has obtained these internal emails showing Ellison's office wanted more. They requested the Ward 5 budget to cover travel expenses, specifically round-trip travel between Minneapolis and Boston. This morning, Jeremiah Ellison was among the outgoing city council members to get an...
This is the point, folks. This kid is supposed to be going to school, but he's drawing a check, working for his daddy, who's the attorney general. And I'm not talking no little check, big check. So he's double dipping. He's obviously not at both places at the same time, able to provide both functions, going to school and doing whatever his dad's needs him to do. That's nepotism when they get the family jobs. Instead of stealing money, they just say, well, we got an extra few $1 million laying around. Let's hire our cousin to do security and our uncle to do the lawn, and we'll pay them like kings and keep half the money. Happens every day, folks, no doubt in my mind. And they're going to find out a lot about that over the next couple of months involving this Minnesota case. But I hope this case isn't so distracting for the FBI that they forget about all the politicians that should be going to jail for their weaponization of government still in the 2020 election, COVID scams, and everything else that I should not have to remind y'all of, including opening the borders. That's about half destroyed our country as we speak. Did hear that we are doing a land invasion at this point by dropping bombs on Venezuela. That is the word today. More investigative journalists in Columbus, Ohio. It's starting, folks. We got 2 states in. It's going to happen in every state. We're going to have people digging this stuff, looking for it in every state. If I find any here in Texas, believe me, I'll be posting it as well. I'm going to do a little digging, see if I can find any clearing centers, quality clearing centers here in Texas as well. Maybe I'm not asking the right questions to Grok. Maybe I need to look to another registry. Somebody know the way to find out where these businesses are located, which one of them are reputable, if they've all got a physical address. Because some of them, I believe, are probably drawing a check from a web page and not have an actual physical address where they pretend to function. Maybe just a mailbox. Are some of these daycare centers no more than a drop box or a P.O. box? Just curious, folks. There's all kinds of possibilities going on here. But I think we are literally at the beginning of finding all this fraud. But here we go. Confrontation here in Ohio about what's going on with the no kids in here thing going on. So it's just like the Minnesota. Y'all pulling the same scam?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here is the first place we're gonna knock, and we're gonna see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see.
Moments later.
So it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up, so we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there. How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody come in here, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building?
Yeah.
You're in this building too? Hey, let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
So we came to the back, just like those guys suggested, and there's nothing here. You know, we can keep poking around, but there's so many of these centers to go to. We're just getting started. So we're gonna go around the city. We're gonna go to...
I'm glad to see this is happening. I'm glad to see YouTube and Twitter has amassed an army of investigative journalists, podcasters, people spreading the word, sharing the news, reposting, retruthing, however you want to call it, sharing the information and getting it out there. I'm glad to see Nick Shirley done so well with this video, that the FBI finally got involved, and now we've got Department of Homeland Security knocking on doors as well. We've got full-blown investigations. It's at least getting done. Now, the right answer is, let's find this in every state. It's happening in Columbus, Ohio. It's happening in probably a lot of these major cities. I guess look for the Somali populations and go from there. Probably the piracy is probably not far behind. It says Ohio Attorney General Mahek Cook confirms massive fraud in Ohio, another hotbed for Somalis. Now I believe she's a Republican, if I remember right. Says they run a fake home health care and bill $250,000 a year per family when no work is actually being done. She says it also happens in Pennsylvania. Audit America, audit Ohio now. I'm pushing for that in every single state. The state will, as long as the doctors approved it, the state will, as long as the doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 years, 12 years, 24 years, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make $75,000 to $100,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, that's $250,000. You could add this and you could wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said the fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork. A lot of people were probably complaining and said, no, this is bullshit. Honest people. So they went to the other providers and home health care networks saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me.
The fraud that was happening in Ohio and then report. So these individuals tried to report the fraud that was happening in Ohio and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers rubber stamp paperwork for home health. So in Ohio, and there's many states like this, Pennsylvania and other states too, where you can go in and you can say my aging parent needs a home health care and I want to provide it. So the state will, as long as the doctor has approved it, continue to pay you. It could be for 10 hours, 12 hours, up to 24 when it's critical care. So you could sit at home without caring for an elderly parent who really doesn't need it, make about $75,000 to $90,000 a year. Now you add two parents, that's $180,000. Now you add your in-laws, $250,000. You continue to add this and you wonder, what are the services being provided? So a lot of providers came and said, fraud is occurring because we said we weren't going to rubber stamp this paperwork, so they went to other providers. Their home healthcare network saying, we'll make it worth your while. Well, sounds like a kickback to me. So we really need to investigate the Medicaid system and how much it's increased since the Somalian population came and who really needs critical care, because that's meant for our disabled, our elderly. So Ohio, and then eventually came to me to say that we're watching providers.
Couldn't get the video to stop. What the hell? We're about to get through this, folks. I got a couple more clips here for you today. I found a funny one. Somebody did a voiceover for Tim Walz. I'm guessing it's AI. Really good. We'll have to find that one here directly. But I got a couple more clips of information here for you. What is really going on behind the scenes? What's blowing up over here on Twitter? The whole 9 yards. We'll go over here and let's see if we can find this video that I'm looking for right off the bat. Scroll down. And I will go ahead and tell you that Alex Jones did an interview with Nick, and I encourage everybody to go watch it. I definitely encourage everybody to go watch it. Now we're going to keep scrolling down. I apologize. Oh, there's a good meme. It's the truth. The Democrats' job is to destroy our country. The Republicans' job is to pretend they will stop them. I honestly believe that in a lot of cases. Yep. Investigative journalist Nick Shirley joins Alex Jones live on air. Explain the whole thing. You're welcome to come over to Alex Jones's channel or to my channel, and you can find it. Just scroll down. It's about 10 down. Now, this lady here was talking about the fraud in Ohio for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and she's just commending this great citizen journalist. Here it is. This is what I was looking for. This is too good, folks. Comical. This is a AI generated. Probably what happened. Not literally, but literally. I'm guessing since the first interviews or attempted interviews where $110 million worth of Somali fraud was exposed by these people having daycare centers with no kids. They're going to do the same thing with the autism centers, find out there was no patients, and so many other things. It's going to be so easy to bust these people. But I'm just glad to see it's happening. But the word now out, if you're a Somalian, because this story is went so viral, and you're running a crooked business, it's probably good not to show up to work if you even have a place to call a business other than something online and a paycheck coming in from the government. I'm sure they're a little running scared today. They were even less cooperative in Ohio than they were in Minnesota, so that tells a story.
Hey guys, it's your governor, Tampon Tim. Well, they finally caught us. If you're a Somalian with one of those fake businesses we used to steal taxpayer money with, please shut it down like right now. If you see a white kid wearing a hoodie holding a small fluffy microphone and an iPhone, do not let him in. His name is Nick Shirley, and he may look like a friendly guy, but believe me, he is not. So just, lock the door, pretend like you're working and shit like that. Oh, and if the FBI knocks on your door, run like you're back in Somalia chasing a chicken for dinner, okay? Anyway, bye guys. We had a good run. Hey guys, it's your governor, Tampon Tim.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, they finally caught us.
They finally caught us. I'm sure that's pretty much the sentiment out there today. Oh shit, close down your Somali business. Don't show up for work today. Not that you got anything to do. Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of these Somalis that have been running scams in our country, maybe even some of these scams that we haven't heard of yet, that they're going to find along the way. I think that is also going to be, they're a little tripping on that whole situation. I'm sure. If you're a Somalian and you're running something illegal in this country today, you're looking left and right. Now, Tom Emmers, majority whip leader for the House, he's a senator. I believe he's a senator, or GOP. He's a House representative, majority whip leader from Minnesota, says, breaking, I'm calling for the denaturalization and deportation of every single Somali engaged in fraud in Minnesota. Read my full statement below. I have 3 words regarding Somalis who have committed fraud against American taxpayers. Send them home. If they're here illegally, deport them immediately. If they're naturalized citizens, revoke their citizenship and deport them quickly thereafter. If needed to change the law to do that, I will. Our nation will not tolerate those who take advantage of our charity and refuse to assimilate into our culture. Additionally, if any naturalized Somali had undisclosed ties to terrorist organizations or like Al-Shabaab, I want to see their citizenship revoked and their asses sent back immediately. Same goes for anyone who is found to have committed marriage fraud during the immigration process. Ilhan Omar. I just added that last part. Ilhan Omar. Your ass knew that. Maybe that was a little dig at her. I don't disagree with him. Scott Pressler's calling for the exact same thing. If you're in Minnesota or any other state and you're Somali and you've been squeezing the system like an udder, it's time for you to do things differently. Like get off the tit and start paying the system back one way or another. I'd say instead of just deport them, I would say put their ass in prison and then deport them. Although going back to Somalia may be worse than prison. I don't know. It says 23-year-old journalist Nick took time to issue a heartfelt thank you to Elon Musk for being a game changer. Without his takeover of X, none of this would be possible. Nick Shirley says thank you to Elon Musk for helping this happen. Nick Shirley would have never got a million subscribers on YouTube if it wasn't for the fact that his video went viral on X, hundreds of millions of views, which in turn brought people over to his YouTube channel, where YouTube probably didn't like it, but he's now hit over 1 million mark in just 3 or 4 days. That's amazing. But he deserves it for being brave enough to deal with these clowns. He's dealt with Antifa. He's dealt with fascists and radicals from several countries doing his citizen journalism. Kind of like Andy No, goes deep undercover, asking the right questions to the wrong people. Like I said, if you want to watch the video, this full interview is 25 minutes long about Nick Shirley, what he had to say. It's over on my Devoted Patriots 2 Twitter channel. Just come on over here and scroll down. You will find it. Worth the watch. Just let me say, worth the watch. Alright, last clip of the day. This is a doozy. This will make you laugh. Me and my wife thought this was pretty amusing. We're simple folk, so scroll this thing up. Bear with me, folks. I'm trying to get this thing perfect in the screen. Johan Omar, going for a ride.
Okay, hold on tight. All right, let's get this show on the road.
Yes, this is the light.
Enough talking. Lock her in place. All set, honey. Hold on tight. Ready when you are. Let's send this Somalian America hater back to Somalia. Just like that.
Wait for it.
All right, let's do this.
Hey, steady on the left, got it? Okay, lift now. 1, 2, 3. Push, yeah, come on, we've got this.
My name is Fat JD Vance, and this is Send a Somalian Back Home. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. My name is Fat JD, and we're about to send this Somalian girl packing. All right, let's try again. I'm gonna score big this time.
And if you like the video, I think it's I Find Dumb Pups is the name of the channel. Just a little silliness to go along with the depressing news of all the Somali fraud that is being exposed. It's depressing that it's happened, but it's great that it's being caught, being exposed, and hopefully they will round up everybody involved and kick their ass out of the country or lock them in jail, including the politicians who were part of it. That's got to be part of the process. Otherwise, I have no hope for this country. We have got to see people like Tim Walz be held accountable. If they were complacent, if they allowed it, if they ignored the complaints, that's negligence. There is criminality and there's criminal negligence. No two ways about it. Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and I don't know how many dozens of people from state to county to city to district level had to be involved, and not just that state, in several states. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. We'll cover it here on this channel. Like, subscribe, and share Devoted Patriots. What I got for you today. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Sorry the video was so long. I just get carried away. I'm trying to bring you some more good stuff and about this Somali.